Hi, everybody. I want to talk to you today about anxiety as the story you can rewrite. I'm Dr. Lisa Ann Homick from Homick Advanced Chiropractic, and this is Brain Snob, episode 110. I'm glad you're here, and let me get right to it. Let's talk about anxiety as another name for pain. I want to go over an article written by David Hanscom. It's in Psychology Today. I don't have the date of the article, but you can find it online. If you Google the subtitle, anxiety, another name for pain, or you can Google the connection between anxiety, anger, and adrenaline, and also add David Hanscom's name to that Google search, and I think it'll come right up. But I want you to be a fully participating person in our world today. You can't do that with an impaired brain. So I want you to be a brain snob, because when you have insights to your brain and how your brain works, you can give yourself amazing life experiences. And I teach this at my office at Homick Advanced Chiropractic. I teach a BFA protocol, Brain First Always, and this will help you make sense of it. So let's dive right in. So I might stop every few moments to add my own version of the information, but I like the way he presents it. It's very good. Also, you should go on your favorite podcast internet site or YouTube and listen to his podcasts, because he has personal experience as an anxiety survivor, as a chronic pain survivor, and he also can talk about his memories as a spine surgeon, and his goal in life was to never do spine surgery again. Why? Because it doesn't benefit the patient, and he'll tell you about that in his own words. But let's dive into the article right now. The connection between anxiety, anger, and adrenaline. Anger is turbocharged anxiety and your body's attempt to regain control. We always want to have control, don't we? Not everything in our lives are within our reach. We can't control everything. We do our best. We do our best with what we've got. All living creatures survive and flourish by avoiding threats and gravitating toward reward. That's common sense. We know this. Humans have language and consciousness, which creates problems with an avoidance response. Thoughts create the same chemical reaction as a physical threat. That's key right here. You should always remember that. When you have a thought, if it's stressful, you are going to create the same chemical reaction as a physical threat to your body. We can't escape our thoughts. We are thinking human beings. God gave us that wonderful trait. So emotional pain is processed in a similar manner as physical pain. If you keep those two ideas in your mind, it's going to help you avoid a bad outcome with your stress and with your health. Just knowing that can help you set the stage for yourself, do some great prevention for yourself. But emotional pain is processed in a similar manner as physical pain. Let me continue. Since humans can't escape from their thoughts, there's a constant elevation of stress hormones. So we don't want stress hormones to get out of whack. We need to respect them and keep them in the right balance as our situations go. These hormones vary by the matter of degree, which I just said. Sorry. Another problem is that we have the ability to put a name on it. Yes, we want to label everything, and I've repeated that in past videos. When you label something, it prevents you from thriving. I don't like having a label for every little moment of your life. We like to catalog things, we like to have insurance codes, we like to put everything in a neat little diagnostic manual. I've talked about that before as well. But it doesn't help you realize how awesome you are at healing and how amazing your nervous system is and what it does for you. It works so hard for you. Remember that. So another problem is that we have the ability to put a name on it. We call it anxiety. The medical profession has viewed anxiety as a psychological problem, whereas anxiety is simply a description of the feelings generated by elevated stress. Elevated stress hormones, let me correct myself, and the autonomic nervous system response. So you've got your hormones and you've got your response within your body. It generates psychological issues, but this survival reaction is not primarily a psychological problem. It's physiological, it's not psychological. Feeling trapped. One of the primary reactions to anxiety is control. Once the threat is resolved, and I hope it gets resolved because threats should be short-lived, minutes, and then you get over it, it's done, and you move on with your life. Once the threat is resolved, the body chemistry normalizes. What happens when the real or perceived threat persists and we feel trapped? That's a question. What happens when we feel trapped because of a threat that's persistent? This, of course, causes the secretion of even more hormones and the feelings of being angry. Anger and anxiety are the same entity. Burn that thought in your mind. Anger and anxiety are the same entity. Wow. Now, that will give you freedom, mental freedom. It doesn't sound right. You probably are saying, that makes no sense. I have anxiety. When I do, I hate it. And I'm usually afraid. Step back a minute and just let it sink in. Anger and anxiety are the same entity. It's your body's attempt to increase your efforts to regain control. What's the one thing you want to do when you're in the middle of a panic attack and you're anxious? The one thing is you want to get it over with. You want to be in charge of your situation. You want to handle it. We tend to escape. That's one way to get back into control, is just get the heck out of Dodge during your anxiety. But we want to regain control because we feel better. We're calmer. Our heart isn't racing. We want control. We want it back. Anger is anxiety with a chemical kick. So if you got a highlighter pen with this article, that's what you want to highlight. That's the third thing you want to highlight. All the things I've mentioned prior, but anger is anxiety with a chemical kick. I love his words. I love the way he put this down in an organized manner. This is a great article. Let's talk about that chemical kick. Many reactions occur in your body. So when you've got that adrenaline, here's what happens. There's a shift of blood supply to skeletal muscles, which enables you to flee danger. You have decreased blood flow to your brain, especially the prefrontal cortex. I talk about that very often. And the prefrontal cortex is where most thinking occurs. When you are in a fight or flight, survival, threat scenario, you can't have blood flow to your prefrontal cortex. You've got to have blood flow to your extremities and to that primitive part of your brain back here that is simply concentrating on getting out. Get out of danger, get to where you're safe. That's it. And it's fast. It's not weighing the pros and cons. It's not having a debate. It's not having marriage therapy where you're going back and forth trying to understand each other's feelings. The limbic system of your brain back here says now. No questions. That's my editorializing. Hope you like it. Also, during this state, you're going to have increased blood pressure. You're going to have a faster heart rate, sweating, and rapid breathing. Adrenaline also affects every cell in your body, with each organ system manifesting its own unique response. There are 4 categories. They affect smooth muscle, skeletal muscle, central nervous system, and conversion reaction. Smooth muscles to control digestion, bladder emptying, increasing the blood vessels, and long airways. Skeletal muscle used for motor function, including the heart. Remember, the heart is a muscle. Central nervous system is intended to protect you, and one starting point is to amplify danger signals from the environment, such as pain. There's a purpose for your pain. There's a purpose. We respect it so we can take better care of ourselves. And the conversion reaction, a given organ system will completely shut down. So that sounds like a lot of information all thrown in, but let's talk about the adrenaline on each part of these categories. There are over 30 symptoms that can occur with a sustained adrenaline bath. This is when your stress is just ongoing. And let's talk about those symptoms. This is a constant adrenaline secretion affecting your smooth muscles. Migraine headaches, irritable bowel, spastic bladder, sweating, and a pounding sensation of your heart. Regarding skeletal muscle, back pain, neck pain, fibromyalgia, chest pain, tendinitis. This is with adrenaline flowing through your bloodstream, affecting every part of your body. Adrenaline because of a stress response where your body thinks it needs to protect itself in a survival mode. Continuing on, the central nervous system. These are symptoms. Burning sensations throughout the body. You can feel like it's a peripheral neuropathy. A rapid heart rate, itching, skin rashes, insomnia, extreme anxiety, extreme depression, obsessive thought patterns, tinnitus or ringing in the ears, eating disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Then the conversion reaction when your whole systems are in shutdown. Paralysis, blindness, weakness. That's a lot. That's a long list. Do they ring a bell with you? Do they resonate with you? Mm-hmm. So, last part of the article, almost done here. Your body, a cell culture medium. Dr. Bruce Lipton is a world-renowned cell biologist, formerly from Stanford. He has authored several remarkable books, including The Biology of Belief and The Honeymoon Effect. My wife and I, this is Dr. David Hanscom, and his wife, had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Lipton and Dr. Lipton's wife. He succinctly pointed out that when he places human cells in a culture medium that contains adrenaline and cortisol, the cells shriveled. When placed in a culture dish that contains oxytocin and growth hormone, the cells flourish. The difference isn't subtle. Oxytocin is the hormone secreted at birth and is felt to be significant in a mother's bonding with her infant. It is also nicknamed the love drug. He also points out that the human body is essentially one big culture medium contained by the skin, with about 50 trillion cells in the body. Therefore, as adrenaline is in contact with every cell, the effects are profound. The way you think does affect your body chemistry. What chemical environment do you want your cells to be exposed to on a daily basis? You do have a choice: anxiety, anger, and adrenaline, or awareness, forgiveness, acceptance, and oxytocin. Great article. It's short and sweet, hits all the important parts of what we need to know about stress and what it does to the body in the long term. What I offer you is a chance to apply the BFA protocol to your own life so that you can provide an intervention for yourself, an intervention and a prevention, so you can take care of these fight or flight responses. You need to find out why they're happening, and if they're happening too often, how can you make positive changes in your life so you have that better resilience. Resilience in your cells, resilience in your muscles, resilience in your nervous system. That's the important part. And it's kind of hard for people to get a handle on that, because when we focus on symptoms, we just want to get rid of the symptoms. And sometimes we do it in a way that's not going to be healthy in the long run. We call it the quick fix, and most people admit that general symptom relief is a quick fix, not understanding that there's a fight or flight a systemic process happening below the surface. Below the surface, where we kind of poo-poo it, sweep it under the rug. We can't do that anymore. That's the number one cause of chronic disease, is that fight or flight system is being activated way too much. Way too much. I teach about this with the BFA protocol, and chiropractic care is my baseline foundation for everything I talk about and teach, because we know that chiropractic care, that your spine are the contact points, my access points to your brain. Very profound way to access your brain. Please look at the rest of the blog, watch the other videos, check out my Patreon channel. I have a lot to say about the COVID Chameleon, hiding real sickness, and the full BFA protocol is on Patreon. I'm about to add some additional updates, not updates, but follow-up, extra information about the BFA protocol to help you enhance your life. Thank you for watching, and look for the next video.